Welcome to our continuing series, Terminology in the Integral Yoga. Today, Delight. From Sri Aurobindo. The divine Ananda, the principle of bliss, from which, in the Vedic conception, the existence of man, this mental being, is drawn. A secret delight is the base of existence, its sustaining atmosphere, and almost its substance. This Ananda is spoken of in the Taittiriya Upanishad as the ethereal atmosphere of bliss, without which nothing could remain in being. In the Aitareya Upanishad, Soma, as the lunar deity, is born from the sense mind in the universal Purusha, and when man is produced, expresses himself again as sense mentality in the human being. For delight is the raison d'etre of sensation. Or we may say, sensation is an attempt to translate the secret delight of existence into the terms of physical consciousness, the secret of the Veda. Perishable and transitory, delight is always the symbol of the eternal Ananda, revealed and rapidly concealed, which seeks by increasing recurrence to attach itself to some typal form of experience in material consciousness. When the particular form has been perfected to express God in the type, its delight will no longer be perishable, but an eternally recurrent possession of mental beings in matter, manifest in their periods and often in their moments of felicity. The general power of delight is love, and the special mold which the joy of love takes is the vision of beauty. Delight is the secret. Learn of pure delight, and thou shalt learn of God. Delight is the soul of existence, beauty the intense expression, the concentrated form of delight, the future poetry. This integral devotion of our being to God does not turn away from knowledge. The bhakta of this path is the God-lover who is also the God-knower, because by knowledge of his being comes the whole delight of his being. But it is in delight that knowledge fulfills itself. The knowledge of the transcendent in the delight of the transcendent. The knowledge of the universal in the delight of the universal Godhead. The knowledge of the individual manifestation in the delight of God in the individual. The knowledge of the impersonal in the pure delight of his impersonal being. The knowledge of the personal in the full delight of his personality. The knowledge of his qualities and their play in the delight of the manifestation. The knowledge of the quality-less in the delight of his colorless existence and non-manifestation. The general power of delight is love, and the special mold which the joy of love takes is the vision of beauty. The God-lover is the universal lover. and he embraces the all-blissful and all-beautiful. When universal love has seized on his heart, it is the decisive sign that the divine has taken possession of him. And when he has the vision of the all-beautiful everywhere, and can feel at all times the bliss of his embrace, that is the decisive sign that he has taken possession of the divine. The synthesis of yoga. For who could live or breathe if there were not this delight of existence as the ether in which we dwell? From delight all these beings are born. By delight they exist and grow. To delight they return. The self-delight of Brahman is not limited, however, by the still and motionless possession of its absolute self-being. Just as its force of consciousness is capable of throwing itself into forms infinitely and with an endless variation, so also its self-delight is capable of movement, of variation, of reveling in that infinite flux and mutability of itself, represented by numberless teeming universes. To loose forth and enjoy this infinite movement and variation of its self-delight is the object of its extensive or creative play of force, the life divine. From the Mother. It is neither sacrifice nor renunciation nor weakness which can bring the victory. It is only delight, a delight which is strength, endurance, supreme courage, the delight brought by the supramental force. It is much more difficult than giving everything up and running away. It demands an infinitely greater heroism, but that is the only way to conquer. According to what Sri Aurobindo says here, the reality of the universe is what is called God or Godhead, but essentially it is delight. The universe is created in delight and for delight. But this delight can exist only in the perfect oneness of the creation with its creator. And Sri Aurobindo describes this oneness as the possessor, that is, the creator, the possessor being possessed by his creation, a sort of reciprocal possession, which is the very essence of the oneness and the source of all delight. This new orientation, new in its terrestrial realization, must replace all the former spiritual orientations and open the way to the new realization, which will be a supramental realization. That is why I told you last week that only delight, the true divine delight, can bring about the victory. Naturally, there must be no confusion about what this delight is, and that is why from the beginning Sri Aurobindo puts us on our guard, telling us that it is only when one has passed beyond enjoyings that one can enter into bliss. Bliss is precisely that state which comes from the manifestation of this delight. But it is quite the opposite of all that is usually called joy and pleasure. And these must be completely given up. in order to have the other.